morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Chris Kalaboukis, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I'd greatly appreciate it. So, I'm into longevity. I don't know if it's because of my age or actually I've been thinking about this for a long time. I think, wouldn't it be great to be immortal? Now, a lot of people say, no. Human beings were never designed to be immortal. They were never designed to live forever. They were designed to live about 100, 120 years or something like that at the outside. And then they were designed to die because that is what human beings are like. They were designed with expiration dates. Well, all living things on the planet were designed with expiration dates. There's some things that live a really long time, like trees or whatever. But everything has an expiration date. It's entropy, right? But there's a lot of study lately, and it's probably because of who is doing the studies, is that many people in the tech space, especially billionaires in the tech space, are getting older. And as you get older, you start thinking more and more about longevity. You think about, how can I extend my lifespan? And it's not just because I want to consume more. It's not just because I want to, take more out of the hands of younger people. It's because I want to experience more. There's so much more to experience in the world and outside of this world that I feel like the lifespan that human beings have is just too short to be able to experience all the amazing things that you can experience on this planet and even off this planet. So I personally think it's a good thing to at least attempt to extend our lifespans. Now, there's plenty of people out there who ethically say, you know what, it's a bad thing. People have their time, and it's time that we should just, allow people to live as long as they live and don't even try to expand life cycle. But I disagree with that. That's being a should we? Should we do this? No. I'm going to do it. Let's see if we can figure it out. Let's see if we can extend people's lifespans. And then if we can, then give people the choice as to whether or not they want to live longer. Now, as I said, everything's going to happen. The only question is when. So people are living longer because of better outcomes, better healthcare, better medicine, better whatever. So our lifespans are being extended. They're getting longer and longer and longer. And if you think about it, the people who are going to be able to extend their lifetime the most are the uber rich, the ultra rich. When's the last time you heard of somebody ultra rich actually dying young? They all use whatever they can to extend their lifespans as much as possible. So what's going to happen? Well, think about this from another angle. What if people did have longer lifespans? What if people were, live for 200 years instead of 100 years? What would happen then? Well, if you think about it, our entire society would change. And the thing that a lot of people were concerned of is what would happen to people? What would happen to the world if we extended the lifespan of the rich? Well, the rich would just get more rich, right? Because one of the things about our society is that it works a lot on compound interest and funds increasing over time. This is why it's very difficult for somebody who's young to become wealthy, because it takes a while to build up the wealth over time in order to be able to be wealthy. And then once you get to a certain level of wealth, then it's much easier to use that to get more wealth and more wealth and more wealth. It's almost like there's a certain point in time or a certain amount of money that you need to become a certain level of wealth. And then from there, it just sort of skyrockets, not exponentially, but there's a certain tipping point, I guess you could say, where you go from just sort of everyday living and not being able to survive to, okay, you can save enough, okay, you can get to a point where you're saving more money, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even the most simple investments, like savings accounts, have compound interest. I mean, they're very small percentages, but they're still there. So if you think about it, the people at the very top, the ultra rich, the billionaires, are going to be able to extend their lifespan. And if they can get it to the point where they're immortal, then they could extend their lifespan and make absolutely as much money as they want, because they can use their funds to invest more and invest more and invest more. So we're going to have immortal billionaires running around the planet. If we have immortal billionaires running around the planet, what's going to happen to everybody else? So here's my challenge. And this is the thing that I think a lot of these really, really wealthy individuals don't do. And it kind of annoys me a little bit, because what they should be doing is taking their funds, and some people say, well, all the money is in investments, or is it in stock or whatever. But there's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of money that they can have access to if they want to. And go in and start funding little startup businesses, which will eventually grow into things that may supplant your doing. I think that's what's happening, is that once these people get to the point where they have a lot of money and they close the barn door and they say, I don't think I want to build another Microsoft. I don't think I want anybody else to build a Microsoft. I don't think I want anybody else to build another Google. I don't think I want anybody else to build another Facebook. So I'm going to try and stop people from doing that. I'm not going to fund other Facebooks. I'm not going to fund other Metas or other Googles or other Microsofts, because I don't want to. I'm closing the barn door and not allowing these startups to get funded. So here's my challenge. Instead of taking your money, because I know a lot of these ultra billionaires have taken their money and they've signed petitions saying they're going to give away all their money to charity, but that's BS. Don't give your money to charity. Give your money now. Start giving your money now to startups. Let 120,000 or more startups build, especially now that we have so many people who were let go from these tech companies. Build a startup ecosystem for ex-tech people and let them create companies with even just a small fraction of your wealth, so that we can have new things. I think a lot of times we come up with great ideas and we don't have profit models for them. We don't have business models for them. They don't work out. And that's one of the reasons why we don't work on these things, is because, first of all, they're not low-hanging fruit, because everybody knows all you're doing is going after low-hanging fruit. They're difficult problems, and there's nobody who's willing to pay to get them looked at, because there's no profit in it. There's no business in it. I mean, the ability to just build some software and throw it out there and see if it makes money and see if people pick it up, I mean, those things have changed. Now we're always looking at the bottom line. We're always looking at the profit margin. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we don't see a lot more innovative companies out there. Maybe we don't see a lot more innovative products out there, because we're looking at profitability over customer experience, over what the human at the end of the chain, what the customer really wants. We're not looking at delighting the customer. We're looking at making money as the main thing, and then delighting the customer secondary. We have to flip that around and go, what is the problem that we need to solve? What problems needed to be solved? Doesn't matter if it makes money. Doesn't matter if there's a business case for it. Now, one could emerge later, and it usually does. It usually does. If it's something that's in demand, the business emerges later. So how does this tie up with immortal billionaires? Well, that's my challenge to you. If you're a billionaire or a millionaire or anyone who's got disposable income, things that they don't need to spend money on, use it to fund somebody. Find an interesting startup and give them some money. Let them try out their idea. We just need more churn away from these people who have piles and piles and piles of money to people who have great, great, great ideas. We need to have that happen more often, because there's so many great ideas locked in people's minds out there. They just don't have the resources to be able to build those ideas. And I would love to see more of that happening. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.